Today I want to see if there's a big difference between three Bacardi rums. The Bacardi Carta Blanca or Bacardi Superior is one of the most well-known white rums and one of the most consumed worldwide. Depends on what you pull the stats and what year, but Tanduay might be the #1 selling brand of rum, but Bacardi's always in the top few at least. Pretty much everyone has had this rum, and if you're into rum, you probably do not like it. A few years ago, Bacardi also started selling their Heritage edition for a limited time, which is 43% ABV instead of the standard 40%, and claims to be more like the original Bacardi, the old school Bacardi, which is usually held in pretty high regards. And the last Bacardi I have is Havana Club, and no, not that Havana Club. That Havana Club is not available in the United States due to some backward-ass laws from 62 years ago. The existence of this particular brand is marred in controversy, and I'm not looking to jump too deep into that right now, but Bacardi claims this Havana Club is made using the same recipe from the original Havana Club from Cuba that was created by the Arechabala family. The original owners of Havana Club, they sold the trademarks and the recipe to Bacardi in 1994. The Arechabala family had been making rum since 1878 and created Havana Club in 1934, where they distilled and sold Havana Club until their business was seized by the Cuban government in 1959 during the Cuban Revolution. For a couple decades now, there's been a legal battle between Bacardi and Pernod Ricard, who handles the distribution of the Havana Club internationally, except in the United States, of course, because it's illegal. Overall, it's an interesting story and something worthy of diving deeper into. Mainstream opinion is Bacardi is the villain, as they often are, and the real Havana Club from Cuba is cool. But it's a little bit more nuanced than that. The Havana Club brand and distillery was quite literally stolen and taken from a family. Whether you think that's cool, right, wrong, legal, illegal, that's up to you. That's not really the point of what we're doing right now. But the point of what I am about to do is to see if there's a big difference between these three rums, because there is a big difference in the price. Standard Bacardi Carta Blanca or Bacardi Superior is 40% ABV, and locally for me it's $12. Sometimes you can find it for 10. But you can also find a 1.75 liter bottle that's more than 2 times as much for $2 more at the same store, and this is why people buy it. The Bacardi Heritage is very hard to find if you can even find it at all, and it's 44.5% ABV, and I paid $32 for this. It comes in a nice fancy black box. Now the US version of Havana Club from Bacardi is $20 and 40% ABV. $20 is competing with some really great options for the same price point or price per ounce, and even some that are less expensive. So I figure the best thing to do with these is to try them in a daiquiri. I'm gonna make 3 daiquiris all exactly the same. I'm pulling the lime juice from the same container. I'm using powdered bar sugar. I'll have a video on that sometime soon, but there's a recipe in the description. And then as I make them, I'm gonna put them down on this turntable, leave the room for a minute, come back, do a little blind taste test, and see if there's a difference, see if maybe one of these is better than the others. But just remember, this is not about a ringing endorsement for any 3 of these. It's really just to explore this, to see if these are different, because I happen to have all 3 of them. But I can already tell you I'm probably not going to be recommending any of these to any of you, unless you want to waste some money to get a nice wooden box. So the beginning of this idea happened a long time ago, maybe almost a year now, when I was tasting my way through light rums, light Puerto Rican rums. I did something for Patreon where I tried a bunch of the Puerto Rican rums, including like Don Q and the Havana Club and Bacardi. And I don't even really remember the outcome of that. It was just that they were all not to my preference. And then over time, I've been kind of revisiting things. This came about recently because Arminder from the Rum Revival and I have done a couple videos now. One light white rum to kind of choose like what we think is like the best sort of thing.
Light, clean, crisp, bright.
And we chose Hamilton 87. And I snuck in this bottle right here because I had not had it yet and wanted to kind of see if that version of Bacardi would be able to kind of stand up to some of the other more popular ones, more flavorful light rums. Now we followed up that video with a bold white rum video, which is like taking the next level of rums, like the Probitas style rum, so kind of like a different category. This is firmly in the light category, these 3 rums right here. So I'm gonna jump into these because it is a warmer day today and they're already warming up. So let's start with this one, and I'll put up on the screen which one it is. I still don't know what they are. Don't expect much from me in this review. It doesn't taste like vodka, is I think what I can say right now. It tastes like a light rum. Tastes like Bacardi, but let's move on. Okay, way more flavor, substantially more of that quintessential light rumminess. It's the best way I can describe it. Light Puerto Rican rums, Cuban rums, light Cuban rums, but just way more recognizable that it's rum. These two are just very flat, and I'm not even saying that that's a bad thing. It's just not flavorful. Like, it just doesn't have any sort of nuance to it. There's not like fruitiness. It's just like hints of rum and alcohol, lime juice, and sugar. With these light Puerto Rican style rums, the cheaper ones, I often get what I call like, it's the very back of my palate. It's actually my throat too. It's just like a burn and bitterness. Doesn't have any pleasant flavors that go along with it. Now, I would have thought, you know, because of where I'm at in the rums that I like, that these would be more, that these would seemingly be worse than they are. I'm not saying that these are good. I'm not saying that they're, definitely not saying that they're great, but there is like, it tastes like what you go to a bar, you get a daiquiri with a light Puerto Rican rum. That's what these two taste like. The one in the middle, I don't know if it's better. It is more of whatever it is. So is that what you want? I can't really tell a big difference between these two, but this one seems like maybe it is not as much. It's just more of like a pure alcohol, more like vodka. This one seems like it's a little bit cleaner. And what I mean by that is like there's less harshness here that also is lacking some flavor. This one has the most flavor. It's not necessarily the flavor that I love. So if I was just guessing, and I could be, it's a good chance I'm totally wrong here. I would think that this is the normal Bacardi, this is Havana Club, and this is the 43. Before I totally reveal it and know what they are, I'm gonna run through it again. This one has a little bit sweetness to it, just a little bit more smooth, if I shall say. And these two, a little more. This feels like harshness is from ABV. This one feels like harshness is because of low quality. But let's so this one is right. That's Bacardi. That's number one. That's Bacardi Superior, Bacardi Carta Blanca. This one, number two, happens to be the second one in the lineup, which is the Bacardi Heritage Edition. And then the third one is Havana Club. So it just happened to be that they turned out that the way I set them down is the same order. Take for that what you think. I don't care. You know, how constructive this is, I don't know. I will tell you that I do think the easiest drinking one is the Havana Club, the Bacardi Havana Club. These two are not ones that I would recommend or suggest. The thing about the Havana Club is I do think if that was not $20, if that was $10 to $15, that would be a great thing to measure up against rums like Don Q Cristal, because I think that at a lower price point, if you're looking for a light Puerto Rican rum to provide ABV and a platform to use other rums to build flavors off of, that would be a great choice. But at $20, you know, Flor de Caña, Denison's $20. Hamilton 87 in 1 liter is like $24. So I can't imagine ever buying that at this price. It's something that I think under $15, I'd be interested. I would test it against Don Q Cristal to see. So that's it for this one. It's the video that no one asked for. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like below, consider subscribing. Let me know what your favorite Bacardi light white rum is in the comments below. And otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.